Reality is a paradox, and I'll tell you why. Where are you? Okay, you could say, well, in reference to planet Earth, I'm in this country or on the surface of it. But that's the thing. Without reference, you would have no clue. And the clue that you do have is your best estimate, because we know that the Earth is traveling through space at a very, very rapid speed. Therefore, objectively, in the eyes of the big picture, you are moving very, very fast through space. Now, here's the thing. If you know how fast you're moving, that means you know the distance you're traveling over time. But if I'm going 10 feet in 1 second, that means that halfway through that second, I'm going to be trying to predict where I will be in another half second, because I know my speed and I know the distance I want to go. Therefore, I have enough information to tell me that I will get there in a certain amount of time. So, if I were to freeze time and say, okay, well, in a half second, I will be here, and then resume, I would get there in that 1 second. But also, if I knew that I was moving through space at X distance over Y time, the more I knew about where I was on that path, the less I would know about the amount of time. And that's the thing. There is no time right now. There is no place. All we have are functions. The more you know about an object's speed, the more accurately you can describe how fast it's moving through space, the less accurately you know where in space it is. Because it's moving. Therefore, you can't pinpoint it. You know what I mean? If something is moving really, really fast, and you see it right there, what you saw is somehow a representation of the likelihood that it just happened when you saw it. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle tells us that because traveling through space takes time, you can only get closer towards knowing one, and in doing so, you sacrifice your information about the other one. So the universe is a paradox because here it is, yet change is the only thing that's actually happening. So if I'm experiencing this, as soon as I do, it's something else. And it's hard to get a big picture beyond the solar system, beyond the galaxy, and beyond how far you can picture something being away from you. The fact of the matter is, since we are experiencing both space and time, we can only know our passage through time or our passage through space. And the thing is, they both affect each other. And we're not going to get to our exact location because if we did, time would stop. And we're not going to be able to have, our awareness of the big picture include a time grid or a time value, and we either know where we are or when we're there, but it is literally impossible to know both. And so that is how we prove that our perception of things is an illusion. The colors we see, the qualia, the actual experience that you describe when you say, oh, this one thing, it's a dot dot dot, and then it makes this sound. Is an illusion that is created by the human mind, brain, system, subconsciously, and the deeper truth lies outside of that illusion. And to understand the deeper truth, you got to look at things and figure out how they work. And we finally figured out Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. And we finally figured out that reality exists in infinite states, but it's all interlocked, and the phase of the locking mechanism gives rise to the physical world. Everything is individually its own thing, and so it looks like planets on a certain level, and black holes, and stuff like that, outer space. But when you zoom either in or out, you have a completely different functionality. Nobody would think that a solar system has the same functionality as an anthill. You know what I mean? So it's all about your level of scale. And if you zoom out, what you see is what looks like a television static. You zoom all the way out, all the stars in the galaxies look like a pixel screen. And pixel screens function on different mechanics than fucking galaxies and planets. I think that human beings are here because we are trying to find the electron. You know, we basically are trying to pinpoint reality to its essence. I think that the universe is alive, and its existence is paradoxical, at least in the sense that experience happens undeniably, yet when you look at what things are made out of, there are reasons to believe that time and space aren't even real. If a photon can exit a quantum system that's set up with atoms and things that can be energized by photons, before it even enters that system, and we have evidence of this, it kind of points towards the fact that time is an illusion experienced by at least humans, maybe animals, maybe it's not because we're humans, but the way things function when you change your scale and look behind the curtain is completely different than the way the curtain functions. There's obviously a reason for this hallucination that we have that connects us to reality. So the veil is important. We wouldn't have developed it if it weren't. But it really makes you wonder when you think about, well, look at my hand and I see where it is generally, but if I were to know exactly what its position is, I would have no idea how it was moving. For in order for it to have a position, it can't be moving. Yet somehow everything in the world is. Everything in the universe is moving. Absolute zero does not even exist. So then how can time be real? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.